Okay. Good morning, everyone, and a warm welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Nadia Smith, Senior Communications Officer at BEKA Schréder, and it's a pleasure to have you with us. Today's webinar is the second session in our three-part series. We will be exploring smart lighting systems and how connected lighting solutions can support your smart city initiatives. Please note that today's session is being recorded and will be available next week on our YouTube channel, where you can also access recordings of our previous webinars. If you have any questions during the presentation, please feel free to submit them in the chat. We'll address them during the Q&A session at the end of the presentation. Okay, so without further ado, I'd like to hand over to Grant Combrink, our Marketing and Segment Development Manager.
Thank you, Nadia. Appreciate that and introductions, and welcome to everybody. Today we're going to be presenting our second part to you. I'm the Marketing and Segment Development Manager, as Nadia mentioned, and I'd like you to introduce Rui Paes. He's our Product Development Director from our group Schréder with the Hyperion team. So welcome, Rui. Daniel and Dani should join us a little bit later in the presentation around the Q&A. But I think let's kick off. So many of you would have heard me present before. And I think what's important here, and I use certain ways of explaining, and I think what's important today is we really have to look at our digital landscape and how we're adopting it. And that's really important. So we're going to recap a bit after the introduction and look at the network itself, because this is the infamous variable science of lighting, and the science is coming fast and it's ramping up. And the technologies, AI is buzzing, AI is ramping up the volume of that. There's AI assistance. The technology is growing rapidly, and the question I'll pose to you today is, how are you adopting it? And what assets are you using to adopt it? And we give you that platform for that adoption. I use the mobile phone as something to compare to. So while you're sitting listening to me and Rui, think about your adoption and how you're using it already. If we see how the growth of this Google image searches have become AI technologies, that you do a prompt and you can get an infographic. It's used constantly now. So now let's deep dive into the smart city platforms, the initiatives and technologies. We're going to look at the Sense One sensing platform that is integrated into the luminaire. We'll talk a bit about life cycle costs, maintenance requirements, the Schréder Genius platform, and then we'll talk the real conversation that we have at ground level with safety considerations and the infamous vandal prevention strategies that we can offer you. So let's kick off. So first, I've got to remind you where we come from. It's important that as we're adopting all these technologies, we know where it all comes from and how we've grown.
Lighting shapes the way we experience the world. It improves safety, enhances environments, and connects communities. At BEKA Schréder, we are proud to be Africa's leading manufacturer of luminaires and glass fiber reinforced polyester poles. Our purpose is simple: to deliver optimal lighting solutions through precision engineering, design, and advanced technology. By continuously refining optical and mechanical performance, we create intelligent, sustainable lighting systems that reduce energy consumption and lower the total cost of ownership. Through continuous research and development, we ensure the mechanical strength, thermal performance, and long-term reliability of every product we deliver. Our journey began in 1978 in Namibia, one of the world's most corrosive environments. From extreme temperatures and corrosive coastlines to remote locations and critical infrastructure, our solutions were built to perform where it matters most. From the very beginning, we focused on durability, developing corrosion-resistant poles and luminaires designed to withstand the harshest coastal and inland environments, engineered in Africa for Africa's demanding conditions. In 1989, we became the first lighting company in South Africa to achieve ISO 9001 certification, setting a benchmark for quality in the industry. Today, we continue to uphold internationally recognized standards, including ISO 9001 and ISO 14001, reinforcing our commitment to quality and environmental responsibility. Behind every solution is a team of dedicated people, engineers and designers, technicians, operators, and support teams, and our dedicated sales professionals working closely with customers. Our people are the driving force behind everything we do. Their expertise, commitment, and passion ensure that every luminaire leaving our factory meets the highest standards of performance and reliability. Our partnership with Schréder, established in 2002, expanded our global reach and technological capabilities. By 2013, as a wholly owned subsidiary, we gained access to world-class innovation, particularly in advanced light control systems. We design lighting solutions that enhance safety, well-being, and sustainability across a wide range of applications. Smart and connected systems, solar lighting, urban and roadway infrastructure, architectural and ambience lighting, industrial and commercial spaces, flood lighting, and emergency solutions. We work closely with customers, consultants, contractors, and municipalities, delivering more than just products, but complete lighting solutions. Through trusted partnerships, technical expertise, and ongoing support, we remain involved throughout the full life cycle of every. Because lighting does more than illuminate. It protects people, it empowers communities, and helps build a safer, more sustainable future together. Lighting share.
And I think that in summary really gives you peace of mind with regards to the investment that you have within BEKA Schréder and the Schréder Group. So as you can see, our local strength, and please come and visit us in our local head office so we can consult you, has this global reach from the commercial presence all the way through to the design studios that we have globally. But I think the most important part of this conversation we're having today is the experience in the control solutions and the Internet of Things. The buzzwords are something next level, but I think what's important is the 20 years of experience that we have controlling infrastructure. You know, the over 3,000 projects, the 1.6 million connected light points. And already we're on our 4th generation of this, you know, so that's where the adoption now is becoming so important because the technology is ramped up to that level. So now just on the specific recap, especially from our session we had at the end of November, I really want to talk about the network. So this whole canopy, this digital canopy that you see is something that is real, something that has happened in isolated infrastructure upgrades, but it is growing to become a whole smart city, and that's where your investment lies. So let's have a listen to this.
Sustainability is the compass for communities committed to viable development. It guides cities and managers in choosing the best solutions available on the market. IoT technologies can help cities meet their carbon reduction objectives while improving safety and well-being for citizens and increasing operational efficiency. Over more than 15 years, Schréder has developed undeniable expertise in connected outdoor lighting. Our latest generation portfolio for smart cities maximizes benefits, offering real-time monitoring and control of all assets. It provides a collaborative and field staff to streamline operations, maximize energy savings, and keep street lighting at its best, creating cities people love to live in. Our approach is not limited to controlling streetlights. Evenly distributed throughout the city, connected street lighting provides a perfect backbone for data collection and other smart city applications. To connect street lighting, the luminaires are provided with a communication node to create a network. Two types of architecture exist on the market, a star network or a mesh network. They offer very different capabilities. Wi-Fi or cellular networks are star networks. In a star network, each device talks directly to a gateway. Star networks are not very flexible and cannot adapt to local failures or urban developments. To regain full coverage, more gateways are needed. The commissioning process can also be very complex. Schréder solutions are based on a mesh network, offering highly reliable and resilient connectivity in all kinds of urban environments. In mesh networks, the more devices you add, the more robust the network becomes. In the event of a failure or change of landscape, the mesh automatically rebuilds itself. Mesh networks allow devices to communicate directly with each other, enabling real-time dynamic lighting and easy integration of sensors. The Schréder mesh network, based on the Wi-Sun stack, is IP compatible. Security checks are performed in real time on each link. If another object tries to join the network, the security access or authentication ensures that this object is blocked. Schréder combines mesh and cellular networks to offer the best of both worlds in terms of network reliability, resilience, point-to-point communication and real-time control. The Schréder Etc. control system comes with a feature-rich and user-friendly interface for monitoring and controlling all assets. As our aim is to offer the most open system on the market and to combat vendor lock-in, our systems are based on recognized standards such as ZD4i, UCFI and Tor. By using a standard data model for devices and platforms, we ensure that integration with other suppliers can be achieved seamlessly and without additional costs. Our solution is therefore fully future-proof. Schréder Owlet 4 allows true plug-and-play commissioning. Plug the Owlet 4 nodes into NEMA or Zaga luminaire sockets to initiate a fully automated self-test process. Wait a few seconds and the devices appear on the user interface map with all associated asset information. Owlet 4 does not require a gateway, which greatly simplifies the commissioning process. The Schréder Etc. control system is based on Microsoft Azure. It offers not only the most comprehensive feature set in the industry, but also the highest end-to-end security through state-of-the-art technologies and proven processes according to ISO 27001 standards. All over the world, Schréder is your local partner to start a successful smart city journey with open, future-proof and energy-efficient solutions. Together, let's unlock the potential of your streetlights for a more sustainable world.
So if we look at that, I think what stands out the most for me is the interoperability side and the integration and the open platform. But as you can see from the slide, you are getting bombarded with different technologies, different data sets, different suppliers coming with different applications, different sensing capabilities and that. And as you can see from this landscape, we can consolidate that all into the Schréder Etc. platform for you. To give you a user interface to be able to manage that. So effectively, let the experts take all that data, all that language, all that protocol, and consolidate that in an open platform for you to be able to manage your assets. And I think while you're sitting there, think about the assets and think about that investment that you're making. And want to make this asset work for itself, and that's effectively what we're offering you here. So let's just break it down a bit. I've had a few questions over the past few months with regards to the network itself and the understanding of that. So we've spoken a bit about the variable. We're going to dive into some of the technical side of it now, and then we will push back into the variable again and have this discussion with you. So as you know, we have the hardware, and what are you doing with your asset at the moment? Are you making it future ready? Are you making it IoT ready? What is your smart city plan? The network and the mesh networks with the data that we've spoken about now in the video. We'll go into some more detail now. And then how's that consolidated with the user interface, And this is all done by compliance with talk. And that's where the power of Schréder, etc. lies. Okay, so with regards to the network, I think the WASAN, there's always a conversation around protocols. And as you know, protocol is just a communication set between devices. And this allows the mesh network, a wireless mesh network, to communicate between luminaires. And this is an open standard, an open-based protocol that allows large-scale outdoor IoT networks to communicate. So that's effectively what this WASAN is. And WASAN is a mesh network, wide platform that will give you this data set. And as we spoke about in the mesh network, you want something that is self-healing, because if there is any issue with a specific luminaire, that will then redirect and it will be a self-healing mesh that will allow it to communicate through one central data point. And there was actually a conversation yesterday with regards to this data point. And when we talk about data, we think about our usage on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And it's as small as a 50 KB upload. So every 10th to 15th luminaire will have a data module that will push data up into the cloud, which will allow you to manage it. But that's only 50 KB. We don't even talk about that sort of usage anymore. But that's how little it uses to manage the data within your smart city. And the common language is what is very important here, and that's where it comes into the interoperability. We want to have a common data set throughout, and UCFI is that conformance data model. It's a global conformance data model for smart city devices. So you can incorporate the NB-IoTs, the LoRaWAN, the 6LoWPAN, the WASAN we just spoke about, the Ethernet, the Wi-Fi, IP networks, and that will all support that lightweight machine-to-machine protocol. So really the UCFI will help you differentiate your smart city with different devices and bring it all together in a common data set. So why is that important? Is because Schréder, etc. supports these open standards. So you're not locking in. We have many applications that our team has written to integrate third-party luminaires, but they have to have a common language, as I spoke in the previous slide, that has UCFI and talk compliance, and we're able to integrate that. So you're not locked in. We can take Schréder, etc., and we can use different manufacturing luminaires to be able to integrate that. And that's the power of the interoperability, that we connect the full outdoor lighting system for you into, and it's allow you to manage it with Schréder, etc. And this is really the reliability of the communication that is important. And because of WASAN, the preferred protocol that we use is because of that self-healing mesh networks, and the scalability of that. Because while you're doing your smart city journey, start small. Start with products in your specifications that are IoT ready. And then do small projects, and that will allow you to scale up to be able to get these assets working for you. So really it's the network, we really want to connect your lighting together and use Schréder, etc. to control it in a form that gives you available data. And that's really what's important. Really, I'm going to hand over to you.
Thank you, Grant, and thank you for the opportunity to be on this webinar. It's a pleasure for me to be here. And indeed, when we develop this mesh network, that is different from what we saw in the video when compared with the star network, and our vision or our mindset, it was really driven by one or two main aspects, which is the ease of installation, but more important than that, and that we learn after we start listening to the different customers that we have, it is the ease of maintenance. So with this mesh network, knowing that we have the self-healing effect, which I will explain in a second, we can, in fact, for the installer, it is much more simple. So we don't need to have a specific gateway in a place, and then everything goes with mesh nodes or with the nodes itself. Here can be combined in the way there is a mesh planning, of course, but can be combined in the way that is seamless for the installers. But more important than that is the ease of maintenance long term with gateways, and the video illustrates that a bit. You continue to grow. You never do a full installation, a full deployment in a couple of months. It is a continuous path that it is done. And for that, the mesh network, indeed, with this self-healing aspect, brings that ease of maintenance and comfort for the city and utilities. Here, the way that we set up this network is super simple to understand. So what we have is the different cellular nodes here illustrated as data lifts, and we have mesh nodes. So the N means that this is the standard package, the standard NEMA package, data lift mesh node, and the Z is that the purple dots here represent the data lifts, and are the ones that push all the information to the cloud and to the data center. And it is the one that has the private tunnel that allows to send the data securely for Xedra. The red dots are the mesh ones. And here we have a hopping effect, which means that the mesh node can talk with another mesh node that then can relay the information to the gateway, to the data lift. And this is the way it is set up. If for some reason there is one mesh node or one data lift that is off because someone hit the pole or the pole is down or there is a grid instability, the mesh nodes will try to find another path to send the information back to the server. And that's the main purpose of this. So we are actively in a low latency sending or trying to send the information back to the server. And that's the main purpose of this mesh network. We can establish a mesh network mainly for street light, but that also gives us the ability to, under this mesh node, to have other devices that has the same capability to be inside a Wi-Fi mesh network. But here the purpose is super simple. It's really to control how my installation is, to manage it, but most important is to collect the data. So the data that then goes to Xedra and to the data center is the most important part, as we want to have the data so that we can, again, continue to control, continue to manage. So that's a vicious circle that we try to complete here. Grant, can you push the nut? Thank you. So we strongly believe that open and interoperability is a must. We don't believe in proprietary protocols. We don't believe in a lock-in effect. We don't want that. And it's not that it doesn't work. It works. It's more about the capability that we have to bring to our customers, the capability to select whatever they have and whatever are the new technologies that can bring with that, and open a set of other systems to, again, collect the data. And so from hardware to software, we try to pick up the most important standards, or the ones that are more that have more adoption to make sure that we are compliant with these standards so that we can offer a more open system. So from left to right, NEMA or Zaga, we can have both standards from a connector point of view. Also, we support different types of theming interfaces, of Fiber 1 to 10, DALI to D4i. Our mesh technology is Wyson, as already was mentioned. So it's a consortium with plenty of other vendors that we continue to work together to make sure that we are open and interoperable, and we can use that mesh network to a set of other vendor devices. And also from the language and the protocol that we use to communicate with each other between devices, where we are on the OMA alliance, which governs lightweight M2M and UC5. And here it is, like Brent mentioned, with M2M, it's the way that we can send information back in a vertical and horizontal way, but also UC5 is what is the common data model, the common language that we can have. And if we all have the same language, we can understand each other. And that's our principle on UC5. And then to make sure that we have also our controllers with another CMS, or on our CMS we have other controllers or the third-party controllers. We also are in the TALK consortium, where we can in fact have this bidirectional effect. So we are being compliant with this consortium. It opens for us to be in our nodes to be in any CMS, in any central management software, but also that our central management software can onboard other different vendors inside. So again, what we want is really to have the power of the data so that then you can take the better decisions for your city. Right? So this goes a little bit deeper on the duality of the cellular and the mesh. So on the top, you can see that we have Xedra. We are using a cloud provider, one of the main cloud providers at least, Microsoft Azure. In that, what we want is really to bring it up in a secure way, and that's why we use this cellular network. We have different protocols with the most reliable and important telco providers, so that we combine both worlds with an IPsec, so a tunnel that is a private tunnel where the information goes securely from left to right, or from up to down. So here, what we want to have is a layer of a cellular network that brings the ability to carry the information up to zero. On the bottom layer, you can see all the mesh nodes. And here for the mesh nodes, really what we want to create is this effect of creating a mesh network, but also the capability for them to opt. So they can opt between each other. We have different channels that we can use, so we can opt up to 7 or 8 jumps until we reach the cellular node. And this is adaptable, of course, depending on the city topology, depending on where we are deploying, if it is a more rural topology, or if it is a city with skyscrapers effect. That's different. We comply with this. We make sure that from the installation that you are planning, that we onboard that capability to make sure that this mesh planning is adapted to your topology. In that situation, if one of the cellular nodes and one of the data leads is down, like I mentioned, the mesh nodes will try to find a way to send information back to Xedra, or between the mesh, between themselves, or between the nearest path through the cellular node to reach Xedra. Right? So what we want to bring is really options. What we believe is that if I'm sitting in a city or managing a city, what I need is only having one plan is not enough. So what we provide is really an ecosystem where you can really decide what your installation is. If you want to select only cellular, you can go only cellular. If you want to combine cellular with mesh, we also have that. We also have a gateway, a physical gateway that then combines a way to connect to the different mesh nodes and not only the cellular nodes. So we really are adapted or have options so that you can install in a luminaire mounted effect or in a pole mounted. If your luminaire doesn't have a socket, for instance, but you continue to, the luminaire continues to be efficient and effective on that. So if it doesn't have a socket, we have pole mounted capabilities, or in the standalone. So in a cabinet, we can put also a gateway there, and we can connect to this mesh network. So in each layer of it, we have the different open standards. It is cellular technology we support from NB-IoT to the most advanced now network infrastructures like 5G. From a connectivity, from a cellular technology effect or infrastructure. This connectivity can be, as I said, vertical cellular, but also horizontal with WISN. But we have also the capability with our node to have a connection to a sensor ecosystem, be a motion sensor, PIR, and all of these new, and Grant will speak a bit about the Sense One, which is scene recognition at the end. But also creating this ultimate IoT ecosystem with UCFi and lightweight M2M to make sure that we can interact with each other. And indeed, how I explained a lot about the mesh network, how it works, what is the difference of it. But over a bit to the top on our architecture, we have Exidor. And for Exidor, the architecture is super simple to explain, super simple to understand. And so we divided that in 3 layers. So we have the protocol gateways. So I don't know if you are a Star Wars fan, but this is the C3PO of our architecture. So it is a layer that connects and talks with the different devices, and talks using the different standards that exist. So from one hand, from left to right, we can have our own street light controllers, OLED4, the latest generation, but also IoT devices that we have, like PIR, motion sensors, and so on, and they connect through UCFi lightweight M2M. So we have a gateway in Exidor that's onboard that information. Also, we support other types of gateways, like our WISN gateway that uses the same standards, like I mentioned, lightweight M2M WISN, but also Star Bridge gateways. We also can onboard LoRa Star gateways using the same open standard like LoRa. TOLP, as I mentioned, we have plenty of examples around the world, and I will share an example in Australia that we have on board third-party controllers, massive 60,000 or something like that, to bring also that spectrum combined with our OLED4, so they coexist together. And then, of course, there is also MQTT from different other IoT appliances that we can also onboard. So as you can see, we have Exidor open to onboard data. And that is the main, as I explained, the main purpose, to have then on the layer of the IoT platform that we call IoT platform, that we have all the data, all the different information from the street light or from your installation. But we can combine this, right? So we have also a capability to integrate in a bidirectional way with REST APIs with other systems, GIS systems, ERP, like SAP systems also. We can, for instance, bring information from the weather and from the traffic from APIs. And with that, we can enrich the data that we already have and bring context to the situation that we are observing from the field. At the end, we need to see this information, and for that we have front-end applications, we have a desktop, a web desktop application, and we have also mobile app applications that exist on the stores in Android and iOS, and that's the way that we as users can use it and control and manage our installation. All of this is ISO 27001. So we from 2022, if I'm not mistaken, it was the first year that we have this certificate. This is more, we can see this as a stamp that we have, but it is more than that. It is the way that we develop things, the way that we maintain the different products in a way that it is secure, and it is not just by having an audit every year or every 2 years. For instance, we do at least once per year penetration tests from an external party that understands the different variabilities that we have in our system, but also recommending new measures to adopt to make sure that we continue up to date in this cybersecurity ecosystem. But also we have a SOC, we have an operations center that is 24/7, that understands and have the different alarms and sensing what is the potential threats that we are facing, and of course we are actionable through that. Brent, next slide, please. So this is a use case that I wanted to bring. So indeed, with this architecture, we could help an utility, a road authority in Australia, that it has already nodes from a third-party vendor that already exists there, but they wanted to have Exedra. So what we worked together with them was to bring Exedra, and with that, those SIMCON devices were connected through Talk. So we have put together even a Talk gateway for SIMCON to make sure that we can onboard 60,000 devices, but also start deploying Alert 4 at the same time, and also having other third-party devices. So we have here 3 different vendors from a controller perspective in a single CMS, all working together, homogeneous. For the user, it doesn't need to know if it is an Alert 4 or a SIMCON node. Of course, he knows, but it doesn't. When it creates a calendar, it creates a control program for luminaires, regardless of the controller. So this is the capability of abstraction that we can bring by having these different open standards, and to have this the power of interoperability in Exedra. Right? So to try to illustrate a bit, because we go deeper in different technologies, in different layers of an architecture. But again, I tend to say this is a complex world. IoT, it's not. It has different flavors on it, but it is not rocket science. From left to right, starting on the left, we have devices on the field that we want to connect, and they are really on the edge, sensing what is happening or fetching the information of what is happening. We need to bring that in a way that we can observe. And to observe, we have the different networks, from a cellular to mesh, Zigbee, Wi-SUN, LoRa, if it is Wi-Fi, if it is fixed line, if it is through satellite. We need to combine connectivity in a way and with protocols that we can bring that to a server, and then a server like Exedra or a CMS can be deployed in the cloud or can be on-prem. It's super important to have security, to have cybersecurity weights, because these devices are in a city infrastructure that is critical, that is considered critical from a security point of view. So we need to make sure that this is not that this is protected. And at the end, this CMS that is managing and controlling the data can also have ways to visualize that with UIs or just to send APIs or to integrate with APIs with another system that then can use the same information for other purposes. That could be ERP systems, could be data lakes, could be third-party applications. So this is the way that we combine our solution from more than street lights to a connected infrastructure, I would say. Right? And so to finalize this first section, Xedra. So for us, it's always difficult to share or to have adjectives to something that is our baby, but we believe that Xedra is really an intelligence layer more than a CMS. It's an intelligence layer for cities and for utilities, because it masters public lighting network, regardless of the devices, regardless of the network capability, collecting information. But that information, that data, that it's a digital backbone that we are creating. We need to not just to connect, but also to control, and to control thousands or millions of assets and data points that are raw data. But this data needs to be unified, needs to have capability to understand if it is lighting, if it is mobility, if it is environment, but more important than that, to combine them and to make sure that we enrich this data with traffic data, weather data, that we just use the same data and send it to an ERP system so that we understand better from that angle what does it entail from an asset management perspective. It needs to be secure and resilient, GDPR compliant, but as I said, more important to add the data is how we are actionable with those insights. Yes, I have plenty of data, plenty of data points. I know everything from voltage to read analysis and to counting people, but what are we doing with that data? But I'll bring that information a little bit later on the presentation. Grant?
Yeah, thank you. So I think if we had to consolidate that, we really and look at our mobile phones, and that's really what is happening. We're taking all and we're gathering data constantly within our mobile devices, and that's correlating that with apps. It's giving us notifications accordingly, but it's a constant set of data that's coming through. And this is something from the previous webinar that I just want to remind you about is the digital service added on to that, and these other services which we'll talk about now in addition to what we have. So the growth in this is massive. So LightSync, one of the services is we actually taking information from the internet, from weather information, traffic information, using the likes of Google Maps, Waze, taking that online data and actually using that to adapt the lighting in certain areas. So if there's weather information broadcasted, we can actually set up a data set that will allow the luminaire to either ramp up, dim, switch off, flash, if there's warning specifically. So it's really giving you the right light where you need it. And this is the services that we can plug into Xedra to give you that. So as I mentioned, it really pulls information from all different data sets and types, and that's driving through the interoperability and really computing that and giving us information and allowing your asset to work for yourself. So it's really becoming adaptive lighting. We have to adapt to the environment of data, and we're allowing the lighting to adapt to that too. So monitor it, generate the insights, process the data, and then the lighting can work for you. So let's just talk about some variables again. I think the technologies and the innovation of excuse me, of that is important. So there's no longer static infrastructure. Yes, we can adopt a strategy of putting in basic lighting and have an annual replacement, but those days are coming to an end because now we are expected to have more data information, to give more information up to our superiors. So it's not just about saving energy, it's about taking the data and how we're going to use it. So what are you going to do now, and how are you going to adopt this infrastructure within your environment and manage that lighting accordingly? So we all understand the operational, financial, and the risk that's involved here and the pressure around it. So we have operational teams that could be randomly going out on a daily basis, not sure if they were going to find faulty luminaires or not sure if they're going to find a hole being struck by a car. And that all, we have to start looking at the financial impact of that, because we are now going into budget season, and what does that look like? So this will allow you to consolidate this and understand your infrastructure. And once it's connected, you can manage that accordingly and obviously push back with regards to how you're doing your operations around it. And we do understand the risk here, with vandalism, theft, the potential cyber and data issues that comes, and that's where the ISO 27001 comes in. So we make sure that it is compliant, GDPR, POPI, etc., and it allows your infrastructure to be more precise and actually manage itself at the same time. So let's look at how we're going to do this with the reality of the operational burden that you're sitting with, and consolidate around a CMS platform that allows you to do this great workflows in a non-complex way. Sending out, we'll show you a use case now, sending out information to your maintenance crews, telling them exactly where the fault is. And that's what we really want. We want to be optimized. We want to be efficient in the way we manage our infrastructure. Okay, and it's real-time visibility. We want to know what it's doing. You are investing in it, so invest in it in a way that it is IoT ready. Make sure it's scalable. Make sure you have the remote management from mobile and desktop. The intelligence alerts are important. We want to know when there's an issue around that, and I'll speak to that coming up with regards to just general alerts and incidents around that, because it's something that we're dealing with on a daily basis, and those alarms and how we react to that. So the intelligence operation now is what you really need to start having the conversations about. So one of the platforms that allows us to have this intelligence is called Sense1. So what we do have is a data set that we can manage externally in a service, intelligent upgrade to, etc., that can draw information from other platforms, other internet platforms like Google, Waze, etc. But what we can also do is incorporate that within the Luminaire. So the asset that you're doing now has got a sensing layer. If you look at how the cameras are getting advanced and the capabilities of the camera on your mobile device, it's crazy to think how that's advanced just in 10 years. So what we're doing now with the Luminaire is we're giving you that real-time information about what's happening on the ground. So that's what's important, so that we can manage the environment. So this can be an integrated sensor, and this will allow AI technology to give you certain analytics. Yes, there is a privacy by design, so this will also be adherent to any GDPRs or any POPI acts and the encryption of this data, but it will allow you to look at the environment around you and manage it accordingly from the Luminaire. The mobility side is important. We all know in municipalities there's the electrical side and the urban mobility side, and the flow of that. So how we need to know what is happening in our cities, because it needs to become a secure place. And the data visibility and the data set that we get from this, understanding where the congestion is, understanding where the movement is from the cars. The cities are getting congested, so let's increase that flow. The traffic is very important. I mean, imagine sitting in front of your desktop and looking at a screen like this. So you understand what were the total vehicles, the average speed, the peak times, understanding you could get to a point where you're sending out, or the city is sending out information sets to say that currently the city is at a maximum during a peak hours. You'll please the bus services are now fully operational and no further vehicles are allowed in because we're at maximum capacity, for instance. So this is something that we can really leverage off, and the city managers can really use. The environment is important. We need to know what's happening around us. Like I said, and the weather data is important. It could be anything from noise pollution to air quality to drastic change in weather, especially by the coast. If there's mist and now the luminaires are reacting accordingly, we get that first-hand information of weather data, and then again the luminaires are reacting accordingly to that. And the public around that, it can really help create a safe space within the cities. So there's not going to be any biometric or video data that's going to push through, but we just want to manage what's going around. So any specific noise, we can then react with security to go to those certain areas where there's potential disturbances, and really allows where people are gathering and what is going on in those areas. And understanding the parking, because this can also be managed if there's certain events, and to understand what our people are doing and their activities, and any time scale with regards to parking, to be able to identify where there is parking, because we do know that in a lot of cities that is an issue. And that's why the point of this is it's not just about the infrastructure, it's about the intelligence built around it now. And the data that you actually need, and what Schréder is doing, and we'll show you, is that it's incorporating all the AI involved in that, and how you can manipulate that data set to give you the information that you need, and also including third-party systems, So back to some more realities of that and general life cycle costs. So how are you doing your total cost of ownership when you're purchasing luminaires? Are you looking at the additional savings that you get, and not just purchasing a luminaire? So you want some smart controls, you want some dimming. We all understand day burners and the importance of that because of vandalism. Dim the lighting to a certain level that one will save you energy and still be able to give you the longevity in your LEDs. So the energy cost saving approach is actually more important now than it ever was, and how you maintaining that cost. So the life cycle of the luminaire is becoming more important, and let us assist you and consult you with that. So for what period of time, what is the warranties involved in that? Is there a replacement cycle? And coming back to the vendor to say, at this certain point, I know I will need a replacement understanding of that. So please help me with my total cost of ownership. And like I said, we're all busy with budgets, and we need to understand that if we've got an intelligent approach to the infrastructure, we'll be able to look at that, to monitor it, and to enable that budget information from a data-driven set that allows us to plan better, and really look at where's the capex coming from. Can we look at some energy-saving funding with regards to this? Is there public partnerships with third-party integration? This will allow you to do that with an intelligent luminaire. And then also coming into certain SLAs with the likes of us, to understand that we want to get into a service level agreement, because we don't particularly want to worry about our luminaire. We want to manage it accordingly. We want to get the data, but everything else around there, I want you to do it, and that will allow us to give you that intelligent information and deploy the protocols and connect from the WAN Wi-Sun into the infrastructure and give you all that remote access. So the future-proof infrastructure is so important. And as previously mentioned, is that start your digital journey now with a LMS ready or IoT ready luminaire that allows you to upgrade when you do have budget. So if this is a journey that you want, let us sit with you, let us consult you accordingly and come up with a digital plan in the next 1, 2, 3, 5 years, and then you prioritize certain areas. You can look at your infrastructure and say, oh, I've got 10,000 live points that I need to manage. What do I do next? But look at the zones where you actually need the data. That will give you instant results, and that's important, So when you're looking at your budgets now, like, think about lighting, because you want to have a full optimized solution. You want to have the best possible spacing with your luminaires to reduce the amount that you've got. Yes, you want to reduce the asset quantity in general, but you want to make it as intelligent as possible. So you want to have the best life cycle cost, and you want to have the best possible design around that. And it must be compliant. So that, I think, what's important here is to look at your whole solution and how you're going to specify that, because you don't want to have non-compliance, because that's what we're dealing with. And in a lot of cases, and it's getting replaced. So you're actually spending your money twice. And we want to optimize that and really give you a lower scheme price. So with regards to maintenance, it's important. And by no means we're saying that maintenance teams will be reduced. This will just optimize your maintenance team. Everybody gets a little bit nervous about AI, but it's optimizing your workspace. It is giving you a predictive maintenance schedule. It's allowing you to optimize your work schedule when we're dealing with AI, where we're dealing with intelligent assets. And it gives you that instant feedback to allow your management teams to be efficient, so everything is planned from the data that you're receiving. The asset management is important to you, and it's not about just having a general cost and looking at this whole geographical system, but it's giving you full inventory control to know exactly what's happening. And we'll show you now in a project that we're running, and the information that you can get from it, so really monitor your environment, understand the performance of your lighting, understand your usage. You all sitting with carbon reduction expectations. You're all sitting with the sustainability reports that you have to generate. Guess what? It can come to you like in this form of this picture here. You can understand exactly the usage, exactly your carbon reduction, and really give it to you in a measurable way. Rui, to hand over to you.
Sure. And thank you, Grant. And so Exeter Genius, and let's pause here a bit, and where I stopped in my section. That is, how can we bring all this data actionable? And Exeter Genius is a service that, in fact, helps extracting the value out of these systems to make sure that you can have a return on investment on your investment. So, yes. So Exeter Genius is a response from our side to make sure that we can pass from traditional lighting, where efficiency was the main word. So we want to have LED, we want to have fixed schedules. The maintenance is reactive. We have limited data, so on. So efficiency was the buzzword. Now we are connecting light, and so we can do more use cases. We can have adaptive dimming. We can have adaptive lights. We have real-time visibility of what is happening. We can control remotely and avoid people to go to manual interventions, or going already with a lot of information of what needs to be done. But that is a bit the static mode of connected, as Grant was also mentioning. And we need to make it actionable, and for that we need to manage the light. Managing lighting for us is super important, that there is this active or proactive monitoring, and we have prioritized interventions. So I have two sides that are that needs intervention. Which one is the most important one? Where should I send my best team? Where should I after that, where should I go? So operational guidance and continuous optimization. But for that, we can have different huge screens in the wall and have plenty of people working on that, or we can have intelligent insights and have the system helping us to go where we should go and bring this intelligence layer with governance. Grant, please. So Schréder Genius is a service. You can contact Grant and the team and myself. Will be super pleased to help on how this service can evolve. But indeed, what it brings is really in the tip of your fingers to have already the information. Issue we receive already, or you receive already in your smartphone an alert saying exactly where it is the location, what is the issue, and so that you are aware of what is happening. This is one of the services. Another one is really to receive also that the same information in the smartphone, which is something that we have with us every day. But we can receive an email, and by receiving an email, we can bring more data. And having a technical team that receives this immediate information, which are the faulty luminaires, where the grid issues are, what can be the grid issue, cable faults, damage, and so we can have more information in this email, where then you can, in fact, click and go to the CMS and go to the desktop and explore more about what is the different information that relies on it, as you can see on this illustration. Then on the next slide, Grant.
It's on the next slide there, Rui. I don't know if you can see.
No. Okay, can you go to the
Yeah.
already? Yeah, the next one.
Okay.
Oh, at this time I go. Yeah, indeed. Thank you. Okay. You can go to the next one. No, this one is as well. Thank you. No, that's okay. So this one is a good example of a potential pole heat that exists. So imagine that in your installation there is a specific issue that exists, a faulty luminaire, but with already more insights that is a potential pole heat. And how can we do that? Because in our controllers we have a tilt sensor that it is remotely configurable to the degrees of this tilt. It's not for vibration, it's really for pole heat. And having this information, or combining this information, we can give precise insights of what is the issue. So at the end, the system will discover that it is a grid issue, but at the end, what it is more, what is the real root cause? It is a pole heat. And so that is the type of information. After that, we can also prepare from a Genius perspective weekly reports that you can receive on your with all the information that's of the week, all the knowledge that exists, but also for your teams to have already the location and to check in Google Maps, for instance, where it is, how it looks like, what is the street view effect of it. So something that brings more and more information so that you can prepare your intervention. On the next one, Grant. Yeah, and finally, we are all using ChatGPT, Claude, the different Google Gemini, the different Gen AI chatbot. What we are bringing is the same technology, of course, using in this case Azure Copilot, but we are bringing that to exit. How we are doing that in different perspectives. First perspective is we have plenty of documentation, plenty of user manuals, plenty of data sheets, of product data sheets, marketing material, which, let's face it, we don't have today the time to go read each one of the instructions every day. And so we have created a knowledge base where you as a user can type and search for the information and ask things like, what is a control gear failure? Or how can I troubleshoot this alarm? And based on that, our AI assistant will give you what is the information, but more important is where on the map you can find that information. Okay, and so guiding you through to get information, but also to troubleshoot what is the next steps that you need to do. This is one perspective, super easy to implement, and that's what we have implemented. We are going a step beyond, that is to connect these AI assistants to your data. So you will have an agent that is on your data, and so you can ask questions about what is my energy savings from last week. So instead you have a beautiful Power BI or beautiful Tableau report, you can have, in fact, just a question and ask what was the number of alarms that exists today active in my installation. And so this is the way that we can bring these new technologies with a specific use case and solving a specific problem. And that's what we believe that we should do is trying to not to push the technology through you, but also to understand what is your problem and bring the best solution based on the different technologies that we have. Brent?
Yep. No, thank you. So I think what's important there is again, when are you starting your digital journey with Luminaires? Because we integrating all the latest technologies with AI to allow you to manage your infrastructure, and that's what you want. Let the asset work for itself. So something that is always important with regards to the investment is the safety concerns with regards to that, and the compliance of the public road lighting, which is one of we hold in high regard, and that's how we design and implement and make sure it gets installed correctly. But we just want to make sure here, and I think you're all going to sit and say, yeah, but vandalism is real, and how do we do that? And what I'm going to show you now specifically is all the vandalism prevention strategies that we can incorporate, because it's something where we want to protect the asset. And you might say to me that this is a pipe dream, but it's a conversation between waterproof and water resistant, but we take every single preventative action with regards to that to try and make sure that your investment is protected, not just in the monitoring platform, so we're really looking at the whole infrastructure itself, the design of the luminaire, and how we can implement things to protect your asset and your investment. And here's one of the GPS tracking devices that we do include and can include into the luminaires. We create a geofence again around your project, and then we have a device within the luminaire. If at any point that luminaire is outside that area, it will start to track based on the geofencing that it's gone past, or there's a tilt involved. This will start to monitor. It has a 3-day battery life before power is disconnected. So if that alert that you get from your system is not quick enough for someone to be on site at the right time to prevent that vandalism, we are now tracking that vandal to that specific area. So for 3 days, that will be giving us a GPS coordinate to that. So we're not only securing your asset where it's installed, if there's any tilt involved in that, if that is removed, we'll start tracking. And I think that also gives a peace of mind that we can now really protect our asset. And again, we're also using data dot technology, so that the luminaire is really going to be as secure as possible. And I think it's all about the word of mouth. Eventually, it's going to leave those luminaires. They're not only tracking, they're going to know exactly, we can rip it apart, but there's the data technology in it, with specifically if you want to use the material involved. So they can track that. So even if it's ripped apart. So it's not only now protecting vehicles, we also really can protect your asset with regards to that, and the camera technology that's coming. I actually I asked AI to create this visual. It's not quite 100% with regards to the way I prompted it, but this is now also going to be incorporated into luminaires, so it really gives us a full visual of our environment, and we want to have that technology. So when the people see a luminaire, they realize that this is an intelligent luminaire. It is connected, it is online, it is secure, it is vandal resistant. And I think that's something that with the growth for that is amazing with luminaires. And if you look at the mobile devices and how that's evolved, luminaires are doing the same. So what is your next step? And I think this is what's important. And going back to a similar slide, I've to that. So how are you going to manage all this data? How are you going to manage all these vendors coming to you and giving you sensor options? So what I'm saying to you is consolidate that under one platform that allows all that third-party integration. So don't just buy a luminaire anymore. You want to buy intelligence. You want to buy a luminaire that is a workable asset, that is actually working for you in the background, that is giving you information that allows you to report everything from external environments to online environments. So that's really what I would drive this morning, and what I want to leave you with is that the technology enables intelligence, governance ensures performance, and you want to get performance out of your asset. Okay. Any questions? We have a bit of time left. Are there any questions? Welcome to...
We have a comment in the chat, but it's not a question. Thank you so much for that comment. I see you've got your hand raised, Mr. Naidu. Let me see if I can unmute you. One moment, please.
Thank you very much.
There we go.
Hi,
Hello,
Ray and Grant. Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation, and to BEKA Schréder for just keeping us in the loop on what you all are doing. I think just to read my comment as well done, BEKA Schréder, from one wow to the next. I think as you went through the presentation, I had a lot of questions at first, but most of them were answered as you just went on. So very well done on addressing it. Technology integration just getting better, and thank you for getting for SS lighting infrastructure. I think it was good to have in conference yesterday, and we spoke to Mr. Daniel Kasper, and he always spoke about a very unique environment in SA. And I think on one technical question in terms of the hardware, would we just to clarify in terms of sensor integration? I think that's always been a painful point. Coming from a lighting manufacturer, now technology providers, they come with their sensors in all forms and shapes and sizes. And I see you've got a nice protocol with UCFi and using the Wi-SUN or Starbridge gateway. Is that in addition to the data lift nodes to be communicating back to the cloud? Or do you intend the Wi-SUN Starbridge to talk
in here when you feel? So I think from my side, a sensor will give you a trigger and a source of data and information. So we will incorporate that data within that and then use the data lift to push that up into the cloud. So Rui, I don't know if you want to add to that.
No, indeed. I can give one example. We have, for instance, on the mesh nodes, we have onboarded also a radar. So instead of having PIR, which can fail in certain temperature characteristics, we have a radar, but it is embedded on the mesh node, and then that information goes to the data list. That's right. It's just to that example. So indeed, that's where we want to put the cursor.
So Abner, also just to expand on that, so you've got the luminaire itself. So yes, the sensors, we can do a pole mount sensor, we can do a luminaire integrated sensor, and that trigger then is going to go through and push up into the cloud through. Everything will go through the data node. And I hope that answers your question. No?
Thank you so much.
And just to add, Grant, there are cases where sensors are already there, but if they have this capability of open interoperability, you can connect directly to Xzeta also. If that is the case, so we have cases where the sensors have already those protocols that can bring also directly to Xzeta.
Yeah, and added to that, sorry, Abner, before you carry on. So added to that, if there's a camera system, a lot of the protocols are open, and you want to connect through that. You know, all the team does in Hyperion is they will do some back-end integration to create an API to be able to extract that information and push it up into the cloud. If you have different environmental sensors separately, we can connect to that. We are able to do that. So I think what's important is that we sit down with your infrastructure and your smart city plan and say, well, I've already got these third parties involved. How do I correlate that all? And then the team can then look at different APIs to be able to connect all that together. But again, as long as it's an open, interoperable sensing data. Sorry, Abner, carry on.
Yeah, thank you. I think you've answered my question regarding to the open API integration. Also, there was another question in terms of the GPS tracking. Is that exclusively to the solar fittings, or can that also be an option on our normal streetlight luminaires?
That can also be. That was just a specific case point that we used, but this is something again that we can incorporate into any luminaire. Yes.
Okay, because I'm pretty sure then the 3-day battery life would also come with it, because I think that was the also a point of pain in having all this tech and no battery backup. Is that then also a possibility?
Yes, 100%. So that obviously, when we talk about the vandal resistant technology, we have to try and become as clever as possible to be able to prevent the vandalism, you know, and it's going to be needed, because this fitting could be hidden in a dustbin for a day, before, you know, to see if any security has noticed that this is missing, and then it gets removed. So once the power is disconnected, that battery is going to be live, and you have 3 days to be able to track that. Yes.
Thank you so much, Grant, for the clarity. Okay. Looking forward to implement all this tech in our new site that I saw was advertised also on a couple of your screens with Cockstad. So looking forward to it. Cheers. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Another question. Can the system be added to existing previous generation luminaires are still working in a cost-effective way, or is it cheaper perhaps to replace the old with new?
I think what's important is to establish the age of that. So when we talk about future-ready luminaires, as long as it has got some sort of dimmable driver into that luminaire, there would have to be an integration for the socket itself to house the node, whether that be NEMA or Zaga, to allow that integration. So there would have to be a rework. If you have purchased luminaires that are IoT ready, normally it has the socket already installed and there's a blank. And then they remove that blank, and then we insert the data or mesh node into that. So it all depends on the age of the unit and what specific driver is in there. If you're talking technology that is older than 20 years, no, I would suggest you look at reinvesting in that. But it's definitely something that we can consult depending on what your current asset looks like.
Excuse me. Thank you. Janet, one moment. I'm going to allow your mic. Okay, please proceed.
Hi, thanks. Sorry, for some reason, I can't type in the question.
No problem.
Yeah, I believe, look, I'm a firm believer that this should be implemented at every municipality. Have you got any pilot projects going at the moment, or any municipalities that are interested? I know, for instance, Durban, our street has got lights on 24/7. They never switch off unless there's a power failure. So that's how little buy-in there is to any sort of control.
Yeah, Janet, so we are consulting all the way through the big adoption, and actually that example that we showed, which Abner mentioned, is actually a current site where we're running the Schréder etc. Genius platform. So that's already been incorporated in Coxstat, and how remote that is. So the adoption is growing. That's why these webinars are so important, and please share. We're trying to find every little last platform we can to have a voice, so they understand the investment that they're dealing with, because at the end of the day, it's affecting everybody. And day burners, unfortunately, are a real thing, because that is their vandalism strategy. Because if there's power to that, they're more reluctant to trust it. But that's not necessarily going to help the situation. We need to look at it holistically, so dim that unit down to a level where it's barely seen, but there's still power to that, so monitor it accordingly. But we are speaking to a lot of municipalities. I've had a lot of meetings with SANRAL and specific municipal entities. That's why some people on this call have already heard parts of this presentation. So we're really driving it throughout South Africa with that. There's a lot of projects that have already been installed, but it's the monitoring of the asset what's important now. But we all feel your pain, and that's why we're doing this.
And have you thought of contacting like the specialized neighborhood groups? Here we call them urban improvement precincts, where we voluntarily put in extra rates, and then they run things like our cameras, CCTV camera systems, and things like that.
It's definitely something they can do. So please get hold of me afterwards, and let's have those conversations with them. It's important. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Any more questions? So Abner is just writing in the chat to Janet. After the presentation, we do intend to implement the full suite of available technology arrangements with SANRAL to change. Okay, are there any further questions? Now is your chance. No, that's actually not true. We're always available afterwards as well, please. So please, there's our email address. Please feel free to contact us. And with that, I think let's close the meeting then. So thank you all for joining us. Just a reminder, the recording of this webinar will be available on our YouTube channel next week. I will also post a link to our YouTube channel actually just as we speak. Let me quickly do that. And then please, before you leave, please stay online to complete the short poll. There's just 3 quick questions, and we really appreciate your feedback. Yeah, thank you so much, and have a wonderful rest of your day. I'm going to launch it now.
Thank you, everybody. And please, let's discuss your digital strategies, and let's workshop it out. So please get hold of us. Thank you very much. And thank you, Rui, for your inputs and joining us from Portugal today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a pleasure. Have a nice day.
Bye-bye.